Soccer Playoff Tuesday continues with the boys version, the 4-5 matchup in Section 7-3A. It's the Blaine Bengals hosting the Andover Huskies on North Metro TV. Huskies 5-9-1, a 10th place finish in the Northwest Suburban Conference. The Bengals at 7-9. They went 6-7, good for 6th in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Alongside Blythe Whaley, I'm J.W. Cox. Thanks so much for joining us. And Blythe, this is a Bengal team that, well, their defense hasn't always been as sound as they've wanted, but there is potential here to start with a good game in this 4-5 matchup and try to make a run, putting some big games together.
Yeah, and that's what Coach Aerosmith was telling me before the game. He has some goals that he's laid out for his team. He wants 5 shots on goal in the first 5 minutes. He wants that ball to go forward here on the kickoff, and that's important to help move momentum up the field and get things going quickly right off the get-go. But also be the first to every ball. Win those 50-50 balls. So these guys have those assignments here as they get into this game. But like we said in the girls' game, playoffs.
One problem for the Bengals, of course, they'll be without their top goal scorer, Jack Moore, who is sick tonight. And so they'll have to figure out something if they want to put that emphasis on the offensive side. Who's it going to be on that back end? Because we've seen over the last couple of years Jack Moore take on that role down the field. So that'll be interesting to watch as well here early on.
Yeah, they're going to have to lean on some other guys to step it up here tonight to make sure their team moves forward. But as far as our Andover Husky side, Coach Lynch telling us before the game that, you know, he wants his guys to make sure that they are defending right out of the gates. They need to make sure they come into the game ready to play. And he says throughout the season that consistency hasn't been there. But we'll see if they're able to step it up because they know it's that do-or-die matchup here today.
These two teams played to a 2-1 final in the regular season. Andover got the win courtesy of goals from Jack Kasasa and Dylan Schrader. Only goal in that game scored by the aforementioned Jack Moore for the Blaine Bengals. Nolan Meyer is off to the left, defending in the net for the Huskies. Off to the right, Griffin Dunnigan for the Bengals, keeping watch. Dunnigan's 9th game, 12 goals allowed, 74% on the save percentage. Meyer on the other side has been the secondary keeper behind Christian Gunther, who's just a 9th grader. But Meyer gets the start here in the postseason.
JW, something else interesting I found out down on the field here tonight was just that there are a lot of injuries on this Husky team, and they said they started out the season quite well, but after having some of those tough injuries, one of them being a guy who's probably going to go D1 out with an ACL injury, saying that they've only won the last 1 out of the 9.
Break on this right side. Cullen Rowe gets it right back, takes the shot, and the whistle's going to stop things here. Excuse me, that was Paul Aminga, the junior, and he was offside. Yeah, that 1-1-7 record over their final 9 games, or excuse me, 1-7-1 record over their final 9 games. They had a 6-game losing skid in there after winning 4 of 6. Quick strike. Defense there for the Blaine Bengals, or rather against the Blaine Bengals as it's turned away. Marius Kita. Those guys in one of those options, they'll try and work down the field. Almost 3 minutes gone. Good pushes both ways. It's going to be Bengal ball.
Yeah, and for the Huskies too, just as they're trying to come out and make sure that today they're all in and on the same page. And that's been the biggest thing, is just that they might not all show up together. And if tonight they can do so, they can compete with anybody. Their coach was telling me that they did quite well versus Champlin, then had a tough one versus Rogers where they let 5 goals slip through. He said they seemed like 2 different teams on the field those nights.
Newby taking it away. He's out of bounds and pushed to the deck. They'll maintain possession here. And that's tough. You lose players. One player can change the dynamic of the team and that mix, and getting guys to show up on the same page at the same time. You make it multiple, it becomes all the harder. Bengals keeping pressure on with Ethan Weans. All the way to the corner. It's fed up, crossed back in front. Knocked away defensively by Austin Eifert. Pushed up this near side. Some speed for Andover, and Jack Kasasa, who we mentioned had the goal in this head-to-head matchup first time around. His cross knocked out by the Bengals defensively. Over to Newby. Quickly to Keita. Physicality. Let it go right there as Colin Rowe hits the deck. Keita takes the ball.
That's something to take note of if you're a player out there on the field, how the ref is going to allow this game to move forward. If you're going to need to step up your physicality because he is letting that slide here tonight.
Bailey Kostick tries to cross. Ryan Schweiger knocks it away. Back-to-back games with football kickers out here for the Blaine Bengals. We saw Kendall Stadden score the lone goal of the game and the win for the girls squad. Now Schweiger shares those place-kicking duties with Stadden. Out here defensively, the senior for the Bengals. Becomes a goal kick, though. This one to be taken by Carter Eklund, sophomore midfielder for Andover. All the way over before it's contacted by Kasasa. Out of bounds it goes, and it will be Andover ball. Huskies goal and a half per game on average, just over 2 goals per game allowed. Same goals against average for both of these two teams at 2.1. Bengals scoring just under a goal and a half per game on the season.
Now this set piece coming into the mix in front of net. Cleared out nicely by the Bengals.
Opportunity for Andover to keep some pressure on, though. Bengals went 4-6 in their first 10 games. Had a 3-game win streak, which was their best stretch of the year in the regular season. That was at the end of September. And then a tough stretch down the stretch, outscored 12-1 in their last 3 games. Trying to turn that around. You're sitting in this 4-5 matchup, Blythe, and I mean, it's right out there for both of these teams. Whoever can come out and execute today, there's no real gigantic favorite. 7-win team, 5-win team.
And that's why when one of those goals that Coach Aerosmith was telling his team, just to be the first to every ball, that comes up big time in a matchup like this where it really is anyone's game, and those 50-50 balls are going to matter here tonight.
Tura DeLu plays it up on this near side for the Bengals. A little bit of space to work for Ryan Bowman. Bowman steps up as the ball flies past, out of bounds off the Bengals. Coach Barry Aerosmith down there on the sideline, longtime head coach of this program that has in total 11 section titles to its credit. The last one came in 2012. They went back-to-back section champs in 2011, 2012.
Yeah, it's his 23rd season. So you just think about what that does for a program to have the consistency over that many years. I'm sure the Bengals are glad that they've been able to have that throughout the time.
They've gone back to the section championship game 2 times since 2012. This cross deflected dangerously. Bengals still working to clear. Losing the size advantage, and who touched it? It's going to be a goal kick. And the Bengals survive. Big Gavin Hennessy right there in the midfield. Got a couple of cracks at that. Eventually on the rebound, it was Kasasa in the thick of things. 2016-2018 to the section title game. But a 500 team in postseason since that section run in 2012. They've gone 8-8.
Yeah, now we're nearing that 10-minute mark that we've been playing here tonight, and these guys getting settled, figuring out what is going to be called in this game. Like I said, the referee, how he's going to decide the game, in what way, how physical can these guys be, but also for them to figure out how they're defending their attacks. What do they need to do different? How do you move the ball? What's going to be effective today?
Ball still free. Keita hit the deck. Taken away by the Huskies. Kasasa working it up the field, and there's a whistle from behind. Kasasa was getting bumped. The ball had gone free, but the whistle comes in, so that's the spot where it'll be.
Now we have seen some whistles here in this game. So, yes, that first one, maybe he had some leniency, but now trying to make sure he does wrangle in this game and not let it get too far out of hand.
Carter Eklund on the free kick, looking for Kasasa. He was cut off quickly, drops though at the foot of a Husky, deflects away to the far side with Weans in pursuit for the Bengals. Angles it up that far side. Out of harm's way for the moment, gives the Bengals a chance to truly clear it. Booted out to that far side by Tura Delu, junior midfielder.
Delu had a few great goals, or especially one that I can think of very notable outside the 18-yard box in the last game I called of his. And so he definitely has the ability to get it done for his team if he needs to tonight.
Long throw in, put it into a dangerous spot. Ball still hasn't hit the deck as it bounds all the way out. Amar Adam able to deflect it to this near side. Stopped by Kita. He thought he had somebody back there. Maybe Blythe a little more space on that sideline to execute that move. Turns in to Andover ball. Alec Brown checks into the game for Andover.
And these guys, with this much time ticked off the clock, we haven't seen too much actions from our keepers, not having to make any tremendous saves here in the early minutes.
Caustic's throw in, too strong, turns into a goal kick for Griffin Dunnigan. One of the two sophomores that spends time in net for the Bengals. Lucas Skipper the other.
When you think about what that partnership can be, how they can make each other better over these next few years, both being sophomores, finding some time throughout this season, and having that teammate to help you get better.
Competition breeding success, too, if you're competing for that time. Deemed Bengal ball here. The toss in for Ryan Schweiger. Schweiger confidently with it. Dumps it to the middle for Kita. One-on-one opportunity cleared away by the Huskies. Kasasa drops it down, gets it wide. Space on the left for Bammy. Defense collapses. Bammy still with possession. Reverses the side of the field there. Back to Bammy's foot. He'll take the shot. Save in there. Bammy's second try is good. Dunnigan made the save. The deflection too strong. And Fidel Bammy was right there to knock it home.
Holy smokes. He just gets this game started. And you think about it, just a little bit ago I was saying Dunnigan hadn't had to do too much back there in net. And now, of course, Bammy making him pay for that allowed him to maybe lull him to sleep a little bit, not having to move too much, and then wham, or bam.
There you go. It was Bammy first on that entrance. You'll see it here, but watch Kasasa be the one to it. Bammy was there, and then, yeah, Kasasa gets the goal. So it wasn't Bammy following his own shot. Kasasa scores for the second time this season against the Bengals with just under 30 minutes left. One nothing Andover.
We always talk about what that can do to a game, having that first goal, open the gates. Now your team has that mentality, hey, we can get the ball up the field, we can score against this team. And you saw how easily it seemed those guys moved the ball around the Bengal defense to get it done when they needed to.
Bengals trying to respond. Play conservative to keep it in. Popped up by Marithi.
And a little bit, I almost felt like it was a surprise attack because they hadn't had any powerful shots, nothing really sent in. And to bring that much force so quickly in that short buildup, see if they can do it again.
Bammy and Kasasa again. Again, it's into the box, and this one just too high. Aminga gets underneath it and launches it high of the crossbar. Was that deflected? We're staying down here. It is a corner kick, so it was deflected. Found a piece of the keeper at least. Some more pressure from Andover. In comes Dylan Schrader, 9th grade midfielder. The corner for the Huskies. Trails too far, Ashton Frost. Eventually the Bengals able to clear it to a certain extent. Drops down to the goal line, and it'll be a goal kick. 1-0 Huskies. Oh, excuse me, that was again off of Bengals, so it's another corner kick.
So 2 corner kicks here in the early minutes of this first half.
Frost again. Trying to find the header on the back end. It looked like Austin Eifert got a little too aggressive there, pushed down a Bengal in front of him. And Eifert slow to get up. He was still down on a knee, so he's not getting up as they had the goal kick go past him. But now they'll stop the clock with 25-22 remaining. And Eifert, who created that contact from behind the defender, comes up with the worst end of it as the athletic trainer walk off the field with him. Four-5 matchup here in this 7-3A postseason bracket. Duluth East is the #1 seed. See it again right at your screen.
Yeah, his ankle almost under him. Those are those unfortunate tweaks, and especially in soccer, you know how important your ankles are to pretty much everything.
He's going to get that checked out. Walking
Hopefully.
off mostly under his own power, so.
Yeah, hopefully something that you could get taped up, maybe get back in the game here today, depending on the severity of it.
Bengals off the goal kick. Trying to get it down to Kita. Cut off there, so it's up to Amar Adam to win possession, and he does, sending a shot goalward. Nolan Meyer steps in front. 15 minutes gone in this opening half. 1-0 lead on the goal from Jack Kasasa.
Something, too, he's going to want to do if it is his ankle like it looked like in that last replay, is just you want to keep it moving, because I remember doing a few of my ankles throughout my career, and definitely if you let it sit, it's just going to start to get really stiff. And so the more you can move it and kind of keep it going here today, possibly the better. Even if he's not going back in, if it is too much, depending on the severity, if he's able to at least be moving it, that maybe will help him throughout the rest of this playoffs.
Kasasa trying to hit Schrader. Eifert is back on the bench, so maybe a good sign that he'll have an opportunity potentially to come back in this game. 16 minutes gone. Bengals, no grade A chances to this point. Trying to keep pressure on. Adam and Kita back there deep with that responsibility. Bengal ball, substitutions coming in. Charlie Rohrbaugh checks in for the Bengals. Back comes Bammy for Paul Dominga.
We could use a good Bammy again. That was a pretty fun one.
And this shot's strong enough. You talked about it being kind of quick. Strong enough, too, to get the rebound opportunity off Dunnigan. Caroming far enough away.
That was something I wanted to bring up earlier, too, is obviously the credit to following it up, because most players sometimes they watch that initial one go in and not finding that second ball that is sometimes just laying right there for them if they would have ran into that space.
Kita out to Newby. Down towards the corner. Andover forces it all the way back out past midfield before Kita can get over there. Bammy settling it down. Charlie Rohrbaugh sprinting his way ahead before it's taken away by Andover. William Van Geem reversing that ball. That one went all the way past the visiting bleachers towards the auxiliary fields out there, the practice fields.
It is dark over there now,
Yeah.
so.
Good luck, ball kid. Somebody's got to go grab that one.
It is getting towards Halloween, so it
That's
can
right.
be a tad scary over there.
Spooky scary with 22 minutes to go here in the first half. More pressure from Andover. That time ends uneventfully. Dunnigan over to corral it.
And something for Blaine, of course, now that they are down by a goal, they're going to have to find that way to make it up at some point. There isn't the rush that they need to do something overly quick. They still have a lot of time to work and make that happen. But giving yourself that ability to feel relaxed even though you are down by a goal. You need to play relaxed in the sense of not overly forcing anything where you could make a mistake and make it a 2-0 game versus this 1-0 game, which is certainly a game where you can come back.
Compound the mistake. Alec Thoreen knocks that one out. Andover with possession. They've done a good job of keeping pressure on, making life difficult on the Bengals. Another good ball towards the net, but the Bengals had the first touch on that to clear it out. Andover will try to reset. Huskies all the way around the horn there. Eventually to Van Geem to try and push it down the left side. Ashton Frost right in the thick of things. Up to Bammy. Bammy looking to cross. Instead, he goes into the side of the net. And that will be a goal kick. They say Dunnigan didn't get a piece of that. So it'll be a goal kick. In comes Huminga.
Unfortunate for him, not able to get his hips around to fully get that one back towards the top of the 18-yard box. And I'm sure for him, you're just trying to get there a little bit. You want to be able to send it early to make sure you get that cross off. But luckily for the Bengals, this one still sitting in that 1-0.
I feel like the first 20 minutes have had significant substitutions just for those front three, right? Coach Lynch really trying to keep those guys fresh. Huminga's back in there. Pushes it down to Bammy, who spent some time on the bench. Right now the goal scorer, Kasasa, down there. There's definitely some merit to that, right? I mean, those are going to be your guys that you want to speed down to change the field. Keep them fresh as possible.
Yeah, we don't cover the Huskies very often, of course. And so now when you think about what does that look like for, have they been doing this all season?
Right.
Is this something that they're changing up here tonight to really put that speed gap between the defenders and those attackers? Because they have the fresh legs. You're coming in.
Alex Gabler checked into the game for the Bengals. Kevin Sarazin in as well. Had it along the near sideline. Bengals a chance. A little bit of space for Zach Newby. To the middle of the field and deep, but cut off by Andover. Keita has Adam to his right. Lost the ball to two defenders. Poked back by the Bengals. That's out of bounds. Last touched by Blaine. And see, just like that, Kasasa comes back in. So that wasn't but 5 minutes. He's part of the next substitution grouping. Kevin Hennessy's also back in for Andover. Ball knocked out by the Bengals. Under 18 to go in the first half. Second game played on this turf tonight. First one was a goal in the first 7 minutes that stood up the rest of the way. This one, a goal in the first 11 minutes. So far, standing up for the Andover Huskies. Adam in the middle gets the foot on it. Keita trying to run underneath it. It was veering away from him.
And one of the goals that the Bengals did have was to have those 5 shots on goal early, and they currently only have that one on the board. So they're going to want to pick that up before halftime because Barry Aerosmith is going to talk to them and I'm sure bring that fact up. And so at least if you can start to get those shots on goal before halftime, you'll feel in a better spot that you at least took it to them. You made those opportunities happen, and they have a little under 17 minutes to change that scoreboard.
Alec Thoreen couldn't angle that one out for a throw-in, so instead it is a corner kick. This is their 5th. They only have the 2 shots on goals, but this will be the 5th corner, which coach will live with getting some of those opportunities too. Taken by Eklund. Far side, the opportunity was there and just a little bit off target for Van Geem. The junior defenseman Blythe got up there and just kept it outside left of the post.
Yeah, you like the connection. These guys, they were able to find each other. Not exactly where he wanted that final placement to be, but still to be in the right spot, to have that initial connection can prove to be big as we get further in this game if they're able to do that again. They've been able to get 5 corners already, and so who's to say they won't get some more as we move forward. But I say this in almost every soccer game that I do, is just that team that gets the more corners on the board, they're typically the team that's having that more pressure in the final third. They're making the defense have to kick that ball at the back line and resulting in them having that pressure and possibly winning the game because of it.
Well, it's the same type of thing Coach Aerosmith's trying to get his guys to have with those 5 shots, that 5 shots on goal mark. You're putting pressure on. Right now, the Bengals haven't really done that, but a chance here. Adam crosses, looking to the far side. Rolls all the way out for a goal kick. Triplett never could catch up to it. So we come up on the 15-minute mark, 15 left here in the first half. Simon Jacobs will check into the game. Currently it's Kasasa and Aminga, the attackers up front.
Almost seems like they're playing with 3 high, so all 3.
Keita finds his way towards the front of the net, but 3 defenders eventually blanket him. Trying to take advantage of a miscue from Andover. And now they'll get an even better shot with this free kick somewhere right in the middle. Have to get a shot on goal out of this, you would think, right, Blythe? The goals that they've set for themselves, an opportunity here, you at least have to get a look at it.
Yeah, and right now I'm trying to debate if they are going to try to launch this one towards net, or are they going to try to find someone to have that deflection in. I would think that they're going to try to put this one on net, but of course we will just wait and see. 3
Bengals pacing around it. DeLu, Schweiger, and Adam all have the leg. Schweiger up to it first. Adam goes to DeLu. DeLu, the left-footed boot, and it's just wide. That was well executed, though. I mean, to get that look for him with that space, just didn't have the right angle.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. As I told you earlier in the broadcast, DeLu had such a beautiful free kick opportunity and goal in the last game that I covered of his, and I was hoping maybe he was going to be able to do it for them right then. We saw how hard the Bengals had to work to get into that final third. We see the Andover Huskies get right back there, wasting no time at all.
That's been the difference in this game. The opportunities for the Huskies and the possession for the Huskies is Eklund takes it right now. Under 13 minutes to go in this first half. Goal scored by Jack Kasasa. He's on it again right in the middle of the action with Aminga. Taps it back, and that shot goes high for Schrader. Good movement, though, yet again for the Huskies.
Yeah, they found the player on the top of the 18-yard box with space, the ability to take that shot. We see him leaning back and sky that one over the crossbar, but that is the shot they wanted. They wanted to get it to that final player, and he was there. Just if things could have been a little bit different, execution on that final ball, head over it. But for the Bengals, that comes out on the better side of it for them. Still that 1-0 doable comeback game that they have, and they're continuing to keep it until they're able to sort this out. Teams sometimes are a second half team. Maybe we'll be able to see the Bengals bring something more if they can hold this 1-0 deficit until they get that halftime talk.
No call for Sarah's in there as he hits the deck, middle of the field. Back it goes. DeLu. Cross. In front, too strong, finds its way to the defender first. Sent towards the middle. Knocked out by the Bengals. Minga trying to work it up with Kasasa.
Good decision for the Bengals to pop that one out, allowing the team to get back, set up.
Throw in goes deep. Kasasa, though, shadowing the Bengals down there, forcing Marithi. Push it out of bounds. So dangerous spot again. Bailey Kostick will try to throw it in for Andover. Header had an angle towards the net, was deflected away. Another high left-footed boot, that time from Gavin Hennessy. Too strong, Bengal goal kick coming up with under 11 minutes to play in the first half. Ashton Frost and Cullen Rowe checking into the game for the Huskies. Andover last won a section title back in 2016. Lost in the title game in 2019 then. Last year eventually lost in the second round to Duluth East. Had a couple of looks at it since 2016. That game, by the way, game when they beat the Bengals in that section championship game in 2016, 1-0. Since then, the teams have split their 4 matchups. That one knocked out. Deep throw in, though, coming up for the Bengals. Or is it a corner? It's a throw in. Under 10.
That was a tough ball to handle, that throw in almost right in the gut of his teammate. That one's not the easiest to bring down and keep in your possession.
Another cross here, Blythe, that was just drawn too deep towards the defender there. Allowed for a pretty easy clear, all things considered, for Andover. Not really connecting on those so far in this first half, coming up on 9 minutes to go.
And most people, they wouldn't want to wait those 9 minutes to the second half to be able to come back out of the gates and have that fresh start. But for me, I feel like that's how I feel about this. They think these Bengals, they need to just muster it up, get to halftime, have that reset, possibly that pep talk here from Aerosmith that's going to help rile these guys up, and also just that realization of this is our season. If we don't get another goal on the board, it's over.
Any which way they can as Severson takes it down on the near side. Working with Gabler. Back behind Rohrbaugh, who loses it. Frost sprinting between 3 players. He's taken down. And we're going to have a yellow card.
Good field position there for Andover, right in the middle of the field to make something happen with this free kick.
That draws the card. Tora DeLu.
I didn't know his
Check
birthday
that.
was in October.
It's not on DeLu. It was actually on Rohrbaugh. He's going to come off here. So the Bengals have to set the defense here. As Carter Eklund will take this free kick. chips it. Great play coming out of the net by Griffin Dunnigan. He takes out Jack Kasasa, who was crashing. He's down. Dunnigan makes the save, and he's not feeling well either. But talk about aggressive, Blythe, coming out of the net. Kasasa's was there to try and make a play. And you can see Dunnigan a little bit holding his stomach there as they collided.
Yeah, and almost landing on his back. Surprised he didn't knock the wind out of himself, too, by that angle. For him, great decision. You have to come out on that. You need to make sure that you're solidifying that ball and not allowing the Huskies to have that close range shot on you. So Dunnigan getting it done again for the Bengals. But what we take a look at is the difference that could have made also. We're 8 minutes to halftime. If Andover would have been able to get one past, making it a 2-0 game, certainly can come back from that, but it makes it just that much harder. Hopefully these guys are going to be okay and able to play here the remainder of tonight.
So Dunnigan is up and walking around. Kasasa yet to do the same. So definitely concerned before what should be a goal kick. In this 1-0 game. Kudos coming for the goaltender there from his teammate Gabler. Putting yourself in harm's way to go make that save. So they'll tend to Jack Kasasa. We'll take a pause and come back to the action with the Andover Huskies leading it 1-0. This game 1 of the 7-3A postseason here on North Metro TV.
North Metro TV News is your source for local stories. Highlighting the issues in your community, we bring you the news that's closer to home. Join us as we explore the stories all around us, every day at 2:30, 6:30, and 10:30.
So Kasasa able to hop up. Well, not so much hop, but you can tell that he's still in some pain. Bengals go light on the goal kick coming out of it. Down a goal, back to action with 8 minutes to go.
Ball almost had a crazy bounce, staying in bounds.
Bengals, that one did not. So it becomes an Andover throw-in. So kind of herky-jerky here over the last 35 seconds. Just with some oddities in the way the ball has bounced. It turns into Andover possession. Kostick will throw it in.
And that's why I normally love turf, because of the consistency. So to see the ball have some of these weird twists and things as it's hitting the turf, it's not always the typical thing that you will see on these types of fields.
And now Tura DeLu sent off. Missed what happened there. Zach Newby checks back in. So there could have been a card there. That's what DeLu seemed to be reacting like. So that was a yellow card on Tura DeLu. So the second yellow card on the Bengals.
I think he was talking a bit, so you wonder if it was something like that. Did he say something the ref didn't agree with or didn't want to hear out there on the field tonight? So, again, those ways that the referee can keep the game in check. He doesn't like what's happening.
So Rohrbaugh and DeLu both issued a yellow card here in this first half. Sarazen angles it up the near side. Too much angle on that. Out of bounds. Andover going quickly with the throw-in. Goes straight out of bounds.
We are still very early in this game, considered that it's the first half. So these guys, to some extent, having to make sure that they don't have anything that could signal a yellow card as they get into the second half. Because, of course, if they're trying to move on in this playoffs, they wouldn't probably be able to, getting that red. They're taking a seat.
You got to keep those emotions in check if you're the Bengals. We've seen it be physical at times. Referees let some go early. And now here you get the pushing there. That's whistled.
And you wonder if that's something, too, that things are now starting to get heated. He's really trying to make sure, hey, we're going to settle this down. I'm going to call something that maybe he would have let go just a few minutes ago.
Bengals trying to be very methodical here, even with some of these deeper free kicks and the goal kicks. Trying to work their way up the field. Andover fans wanted a handball there on the Bengals. Zach Sherian working through the middle of the field. Andover throw in. Huskies pressuring on that far side. Another Husky injured over there. Simon Jacobs is hopping around on one leg. So this is a struggling finish here to the final 7 minutes of this half. 5:20 to go. D-to-D pass back behind play as Kostick forced to tap dance around Saracen, who does take the ball away from him. He's put down to the deck, and that's going to draw a yellow card on Bailey Kostick. So definitely trying to rein things in here. 2 yellows on the Bengals and 1 on Kostick here. Will sit in favor of Luke Schrader. Excuse me, it'll be Elijah Edwards as you see the contact again.
Sometimes those can get tough. I didn't quite see exactly there, but when you're behind someone and you're running and you're in that close quarters, if any trip up, it's like all your weight and your momentum is going forward. That oftentimes it does result in you pushing them down.
Gabler will boot it. That one goes wide, not exactly what the Bengals were looking for. Tracked down by Triplett over there. Tries to turn it upfield. There's another chance as he goes to the middle. Good feed up ahead. Cross comes back. Triplett chance, and he overran it. Andover able to clear. 4.5 to go. Bengals trying to keep the pressure on. And that one's going to stream out of bounds. It'll be Andover ball.
Tough one to see slip through for the Bengals. They had that opportunity. I felt like my eyes got wide wanting to see what could happen with that ball inside the box. Of course, seeing the time tick down, we're 4 minutes, just a little over, and these guys now at least in their attacking third if they can lock it in.
Bounces just away from the Bengals. Sherian after it. The Bengals working without their top goal scorer, Jack Moore. Sick today as Frost sprinting ahead for Andover. Frost with it, takes the shot, and it goes wide. Defense step for step. Looked like Alec Thoreen was there to alter it just enough.
And we talk about what that can mean for the Bengals to really hold this one to 1-0. That feeling is going to be a lot different if the score is 2-0 heading into halftime. But this 1-0 feels completely possible. These guys just got to hunker down and get it done. But I would say right now, how can you do everything you can to make it to halftime to allow that to be possible?
Andover ball, we saw it in game number 1. Anoka keeping things close. I mean, that was still a game where they had chances inside the final 5 minutes. They were definitely still in it because of the way they played even after going down a goal. Bengals have done that so far for 26 minutes. 3 more to go until halftime. Long free kick ended up right on the doorstep. Still bouncing around and in. It might have gone off a Bengal. The nearest guy to it was Elijah Edwards for Andover.
Tough break there for the Bengals.
Official is going to get together and confirm this. Goalie ended up down on his back. And a bouncing ball, and the Bengals trying to knock it out. And it's not going to be a goal.
And this is massive. This is so big for the Bengals to come out of that one again, still with this 1-0 score. That was feeling like the momentum shift for Andover if that was considered a goal. And the Bengals, now how can they work and use this to their advantage that the score remained the same?
So you got to figure there's some kind of foul called there, right, Blythe? I mean, in front, you see the field official come down to the corner official to talk about it. They must have.
I'm trying to think, where was that ball? Where did they place that? Because I can't see it quite. I don't know if I saw exactly how they entered that ball back in the game. Would probably be the most telling.
Yeah.
So it was a goal kick versus like a free kick inside there.
It might have been a free kick.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
It's so tough. It's like to try to figure that out if we didn't exactly see it right when it's happening. Because that would be what would tell us, was it?
So that one streaks just by as the Andover fans wanted something as Gavin Hennessy took a shot. So the officials wave off basically the own goal, as again, it looked like Kevin Sarazen was the guy who knocked it in off of his head. Sarazen now down with it. Trying to step around a defender. It's taken away by Bammy. Sarazen after it again, forces it out to the Andover bench. Bengal throw in, under 2 minutes to go. Substitution first for Blaine. Nolan Nthali comes in, as does Marius Kita. Throw in amongst 4 Andover defenders. Results in an Andover clear towards midfield. Schweiger bumps it down, angles it towards the sideline. Edwards, who nearly got credit for that goal, is basically the nearest to it. Tosses it in there. Minute 20 to go.
As I kept saying, wanting the Bengals to just continue to work together, make sure they get as much possession as they can to keep this game 1-0 as they head into halftime. In soccer, you don't have those timeouts, those times to have your coach be able to maybe adjust some things that can work for you to possibly get that ball in the back of the net.
Nthali keeps the pressure on, tries to dump it down to Adam. It's in the middle. Adam takes the shot and rolls it in to Nolan Meyer, who makes the save. Second shot on goal of the night for the Bengals, and it takes till the final 40 seconds to get it. It's booted high, not as deep by Meyer with 30 seconds left in the half. Whistle, and that's going to draw the foul on the Bengals. No card on Marius Kita, but a talking to from the official. Final 15 seconds. Andover one more push. The Bengal defender didn't even know what was happening there. Sarazen just had it run into his back. Bengals push it down.
Was the best block that could have happened, though, so it worked out.
Put up at the horn and dropped down at the feet of Meyer. A goal 11 minutes into this one. All we've had on the board so far, it belonged to Andover's Jack Kasasa, his 11th goal of the season to lead this team, and it makes it 1-0 at the half. 7-3A boys soccer playoffs continue next on North Metro TV.
The COVID-19 vaccines can be our chance to get back to our plans, to get back to each other, to life. But it's okay to have questions, like, can the vaccines give you COVID-19? You cannot get COVID-19 from a vaccine. Find the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
This event is called Guns and Hoses, put on by the Lino Lakes Police and Fire Department. It's a great event. This year we're expecting to see bigger than ever crowds. year we pick a benefactor that the Guns N' Hoses program benefits, and it's usually something to do with police and fire or first responders.
My role with the Senior Kinship Program is to coordinate the matching process between the seniors and the volunteers, as well as supervise and train the volunteers. The Anoka County Community Action Program Senior Kinship Program connects volunteers with seniors living throughout Anoka County. The seniors are living independently, they're age 60 and older, and they're feeling a little isolated, a little lonely, and volunteers help them to feel like they are connected to their community again. So they provide companion services, they provide transportation, they're making phone calls to them, dropping off care packages, different things like that. Jessica said, I want to help people right here where I live.
I wanted to become a part of something bigger than me, that I could be a part of giving back. It will be a great opportunity for anyone to be able to connect with people, because we have so much that we can share and be able to give each other. I'm too busy not to be able to have someone like Darlene in my life, because she gives me the courage, she gives me the inspiration to be able to start my week next week, because it's just another glance of hope for me to be able to carry on.
And to just hear her voice, and because it's bubbly and friendly, you know, it's the hour goes so fast. When you get up in my age, there's a lot of people that leave all the time. So this way you have a companion that, you know, that's there for you, and you can talk to her about things and stuff.
When Vicki reached out to become a volunteer, she had recently retired as a special ed teacher. She had a wonderful relationship with her parents, and that relationship was gone after they passed, and she felt really called to give back to her senior community locally.
I love the wisdom that seniors share. Having lost both of my parents, I realized the importance of having other caring adults looking in on our elderly. It made me realize the loneliness that takes place with our seniors. I feel like our seniors are an overlooked generation.
Kathy is very generous with the compliments that she gives regarding what she's getting out of the kinship program, as well as what she's getting out of the relationship with Vicki.
I have a wonderful person who is my kinship gal, and she has made a huge difference in my life. I mean, I love this program. It has done so much for me, and Vicki, Vicki is just a huge added blessing. I just hear her voice, and it's like sunshine coming in.
Volunteers are essential to make this program run. The volunteers are the people out there meeting with the seniors, and without the volunteers, this program will not exist. The volunteers commit to spend about 1 to 2 hours a week with each client, and some volunteers have the time and the willingness and the energy to take on more than one client that they're working with. The volunteer process is a volunteer applies to become a volunteer. They do an informational phone call with me, an interview with me, and then we do a background check, a reference check, and they go through a volunteer orientation. After that, I get to know the volunteer better as I'm getting to know the senior better, and then make a match with them based on similar interests or similar personalities. In the time that they're together, they might be playing board games, maybe going out into the community to run an errand or pick up a prescription or go to a doctor's appointment. Maybe they're sitting at home working on art projects with them or different craft activities. And they also could be doing things like helping them to fill out forms or sorting their mail.
You could hear in their voice when you called, you know, just how you made their day just by a simple phone call.
You know, with volunteering for me, it's not just about giving. It's always an opportunity that allows you to receive.
You know, we all need help in our lives, and to give it just a smile or a hug and say, you know, I'm here for you, I'll talk with you. Everyone needs that.
The best volunteers are those that want to have some fun and enjoy this program.
One nothing. Same story as our girls matchup here on this field earlier this evening. One goal in the first 11 minutes. Standing up for the Andover Huskies right now. Huskies with the early pressure off the shot. The rebound chance and finish for Jack Kasasa, who came out of this game with an injury. He's been walking around on the sideline there, so they'll likely get Kasasa back. 5 corner kicks in that first half, Blythe, and that just shows you it was Andover that was putting the pressure on. Bengals had a couple of looks. They need more of this.
Yeah, I'm sure Aerosmith was telling them throughout that halftime is you're going to need to take those opportunities. You're going to need to create those opportunities to get up the field because you're sitting at a deficit. You have to at least net 2 to win this game tonight.
That's where Kasasa was hurt. It almost became a 2-0 game at one point. Bengals, again, another couple of opportunities, just not quite connecting on the cross. And then here, the ball goes wide on a break. A few of those have been there for the Andover Huskies. Deep throw-ins for the Bengals, just about the only way they've managed some offense. Running up against Nolan Myers, been able to make a couple of saves. It was very nearly 2-0 at one point. Goal was waved off for Andover, so it stays 1-0. There was a long conversation with Coach Andy Lynch and the officiating crew at the half. And just basically, it'll be interesting, Blythe, as we've talked about, to see how this is officiated. We had a couple of yellow cards on the Bengals, 1 on the Huskies. And the Bengals trying to come out quickly here with Zachary Triplett. All the way to the goal line. His cross is knocked away and out of bounds. It'll be Bengal ball, but on a throw-in, Nolan Meyer able to scoot that one away out of bounds on the sideline.
What a way for the Bengals to come out cooking, though, as they get up the field quickly and put that one at least in that final third and an opportunity towards net.
How can they sustain some of that pressure? Or can they sustain some of that pressure? That first game ended 1-0. Bengal girls team got a win in the 3-6 matchup of their first round 7 3A playoffs. Bengal boys trying to be the 4 seed that knocks off the 5. But Andover has been the aggressors. Got that goal 11 minutes in. Leaving the Bengals looking for answers here. Adam got it down in the corner. Triplett's cross goes wide of Keita, allows the defense to get there. Pushed back down, close to Adam again. Cherian dumped it back. Newby had it for a moment. Pops out to Taradalou. Triplett bounces it ahead, and then it goes flying past his right shoulder, deep back and cleared.
But the possession there in that attacking half was a lot different than what we saw in that first half. So you're seeing some change in the Bengals coming out of halftime.
Definitely more aggressive. Keep an eye on the back end. Not a whole lot committed defensively at this point. As the Bengals putting the eggs in the basket of finding a goal sooner rather than later. Newby in the middle. Shoves it, right-footed, right side for Weans. Weans works around a defender. Left-footed cross off the heel of a defender. Back to Weans. Again across. Just tapped away. Adam was on the receiving end of that. Didn't quite make it to him. But you see that there. Nobody back defensively. As the Bengals pushed ahead, they leave it to Dunnigan to power it back down the field with an attacker trailing at him. Ball checks up. Poked down to the corner. Kita attacking after it. It will be Andover ball. But you're right, Blythe. I mean, it's a complete change here in these Bengals. They found a gear to get the possession. Now they need to find that gear to turn it into a goal as Dylan Schrader comes back in for Andover.
And what's going to help them do that is now they're putting this pressure on the back line, possibly going to make them have those mistakes that can be costly right there in front of net. The more time you can have the ball in that attacking third to make the Huskies have to do something, have to clear it. But you're wearing them down regardless during that possession.
Sherian with the free kick off the whistle. Bammy had to limp off, looked like a cramping issue for Andover. Sherian, good long boot towards the front of the net. Bengals were in the area, and Kita just couldn't cleanly get the foot on it. Spot taken up there as well by William Van Giem defensively. But it did go off Van Giem, so a corner, second one of the game for the Bengals. Newby lobs it in, and the goalkeeper got up there with a hand and swatted it away. And either way, the whistle comes against the Bengals anyway, so a survive for the Huskies.
But still in this attacking end for the Bengals, they're going to make this Andover team wear down. We're seeing that they're taking it to them. They're forcing them to make some of those boot balls that we're seeing, that the Bengals keep getting the possession back even if the Huskies get it from them.
Whistle. It's going to be another free kick for the Bengals. And we haven't seen the shots on goal, Blythe, but this is the type of first 5 minutes that Coach Aerosmith wanted in the first half, and he's getting it here in the second half. Ball knocked away. Sherian can't get there. DeLue spins around it, takes the left-footed shot, and just sails it wide. Quick trigger for Tara DeLue, and he just pushes it wide.
But they're doing what they needed to do. They're getting those shots off. They're getting them into that space. Next is, of course, to get it on net and not to the either side, so that the keeper has to make that decision how they're going to defend and if they're going to be able to make the diving effort.
DeLue sacrificed the body to try and keep that in at midfield. Andover able to cross the midfield stripe. Aminga trying to hang on to it. Bengals look to knife it ahead, taken away by Van Giem. He'll push it up on the near side for Schrader. Schrader the cross. Bengal defender falls. Van Giem back to the middle, and Aminga sends it too high. Quick attack for Andover.
And if you take that all the way back to Kita up top, he's trying to go long. He wants to run onto this ball. That ball played short, and the defense able to step through, and the momentum swing. The Huskies really haven't been over on their attacking half of the field too much in the second half, and we see how easily they were able to possibly score a goal just in that first attempt that they've really had in the second half.
Booming kick from Dunnigan.
But they show how quickly that can happen. Again, just the Huskies, regardless of if this game gets tied up, and even if the Bengals get that 2-1 lead that they're hoping they can get here in these next minutes, they're going to have that looming thought that this Husky team is coming back to get them, because it can happen just that quick.
And also underscores how important it is to keep this pressure on and keep the ball in your half. And those chances become fewer and farther between. Weans trying to take it away from a couple of Huskies, including Kasasa. Goes to the right side for Aminga. He's onside, but in a foot race. Bumped off his spot. Foot race won by the Bengal down there. Schweiger took it upfield, but it comes back to the Huskies. Cross comes in front, shot and a score. It's 2-0 Huskies. and 2-0 Jack Kasasa. That's a great cross, Blythe. I think it was Bailey Kostick down deep, and it was. Eludes a couple of Bengal feet, and Kasasa, his 12th of the season and 2nd of the game.
Kasasa getting in that position to make it happen. He had to make that run. There was a few defenders that were on him, but he made himself available to put this one away. And of course, for him tonight, that came up huge because this 2-0 lead really can help them throughout these next 32 minutes that remain in tonight's game. It's given them that cushion that they needed, that even if the Bengals do find the back of the net in this pressure that they've had in the second half, they still have yet another goal to give.
Feels like a huge uphill battle at this point now, even at 2-0 Blythe. Obviously, nothing decided yet, and still 32 minutes to go. But just a gut punch of a goal, the pressure the Bengals have put on this Andover team in this second half. And yet it's still Andover who becomes the first team to score. Kita off some contact that still has a Husky down. Crosses it back out in front as up comes the downed Husky Van Geem. Only to go right back down again. And finally they will stop time.
Kita's had some nice plays getting down on either side, whichever he's playing on at the time, but getting down and getting those crosses off. I've seen it time and time again in the games that I've covered of his, that he finds that ability to normally take that second to make sure he's slotting that one through. No receiver on the other end of it this time, or nothing that was quick enough to get there before the defense. But that was the play that they wanted. That was the play that the Bengals needed to set them up.
So Van Geem is off. Ball is dropped and it's Bengal ball, but just booted down for a goal kick. Down 2-0. Need everything they did over the first 5 minutes and more. Here are the Bengals. Pressure, shots on goal. Ball goes back to the Huskies. Winner of this one likely slated to take on the #1 seeded Duluth East Greyhounds. Kita slow plays it right there as he got to the blue paint and has it tapped away. Kasasa up the field looking for Aminga. And the flag is up, so he was offside. That was awful close. Look, he was trying. Yep. Aminga trying to keep from getting into third gear. But they deem he was just a step ahead. Bengal ball on the free kick. Coach Lynch has the 2-0 lead. That's about the only thing he's happy about at the moment.
We have to take a look at the time. Still 30 minutes on the clock. A great amount of time if you're a Bengal, knowing that even if we just scored a goal every 15 minutes, we could tie this one back up.
In comes Meyer, and he is playing well to not make that happen. Bengals staring down the barrel of not just a shutout, but the season coming to a close. They were shut out 6 times this year. And another flag up for another offsides for the Huskies as we duck under 30 minutes remaining. Shut out by Maple Grove, the #1 team in the state. 6-0 early in the season, 4-0 against Coon Rapids. Back-to-back games, lost 2-0 before they went on that 3-game win streak, which featured a pair of shutouts on their own. And then shut out twice more against the 1 seed in this section, Duluth East in Champlain Park. Right side for the Bengals. Williams had it poked away. Defensive footwork for Austin Eifert. It'll be a corner kick for the Bengals.
And you saw how far deep they got into that final third. That made this corner kick happen. They got in position to make them have to defend, and that was their best option, was to just tick this one out of bounds.
Tried to get Schweiger running in there. Could not get to it for the header. Bengals, though, still fighting for it. DeLue in a battle. Both players end up down on the deck. Hop up, it'll be Andover ball. Battling with Dylan Schrader.
And we remember DeLue having that yellow card earlier, and so not wanting to have to get another one of those.
Out of bounds. Ashton Frost will check back in. 27 and counting here. Left in the second half.
Quite the throw in there for the Huskies. Got up good distance on the field.
Such a weapon. Can do that on the fly. Duluth East taking on the 8 seed Cambridge Isanti in this section. Greyhounds hoping to host the rest of the way. Championship to be decided next Tuesday. Centennial, of course, the 2 seed. They take care of business. They'll face either Coon Rapids or Anoka, a game that we'll have on the air on Thursday. That time on side. Plenty of defense back. Both these teams 8 wins a season ago. And here an offside is going to be called. Austin Eifert still knocked it home and does the fake celebration, knowing that the whistle had come for offsides.
And he's lucky the referee didn't make this too serious, because normally referees would make a big deal about that when you know that, hey, play is stopped and you still continue on like that. I think he just let that one slide. Too much other.
There was a lot else going on.
More serious things were happening.
I think Schweiger might have got hit in the face, so he might be bleeding here. Or Alec Thoreen, excuse me. Gabler checks in. Free kick for the Huskies. Bengals. Tura DeLue. But at least clear it out of the box. Pushed back down there by Hennessy. Right out in front. Again, a Bengal deflection. Saves a potential shot on goal.
Huge clear for the Bengals. That was in the box, bouncing around, and a lot of Huskies wanting to get on the end of it.
Included Cullen Rowe, who had that last one that was deflected. Frost, a lot of speed there. Bounces back to him at midfield. He's got some space. Up on the right side, Kasasa in the middle, and he can't redirect. He wants that one back for a third goal of the night. It was there for him on a great feed. 25 minutes to go.
You feel that sigh of relief for the Bengals for that not happening, keeping this one 2-0. My coaches always would say, if you get down by a couple goals, you really can't think about that you're down by 2 goals. You're only thinking about you have to get a goal on the board. We need to score. We'll think about that next one once we make that happen. Yes, a little more sense of urgency because you're going to have to get more than 1 in this game to tie it back up even. But these guys first have to focus on finding the back of the net.
Not a 2-point goal. Got to get the first one first.
Wouldn't that be nice, though?
3-point shot. DeLu puts it off the back of a Husky, trying to center it. Crosses over. Weans got it in front, the Bengal goal. Bengals quickly picking it up to get it to midfield, and the man who scored it will be the man who takes it, Marius Kita.
Massive goal for the Bengals. They get it back. Now just need 1 more. And how can you use this momentum to your advantage? You found a way to net it. Kita getting it done for the Bengals. And you see how quickly he gets this ball. He knows that they need to score, and they need to score again.
Great work by Weans, too, to get that one down deep into that corner. You've remarked on that a couple of times for number 2 in blue. Kita got the goal. Brian Obwogi also checks into the game for the first time. Last year, Obwogi scored 4 goals for this team. Was the top goal scorer in that shortened season when they won 8 games. Ball out, it is Andover ball. So that's interesting here, Blythe. We haven't seen him at all this game, but Obwogi, 20 in blue, is out there again. That gives another weapon here. He was waiting to check in even before the goal was scored. 23 minutes to go in this one. There's Obwogi. Centers it. Back in the middle for Newby. Newby's shot. Oh, my word. Right to the post and just wide. Knocked away by Nolan Meyer. That had goal written all over it. The Bengals nearly scoring twice in 2 minutes. They'll get a corner.
And Obwogi, like you said, credit to him playing that ball top of the 18-yard box. A perfect ball. Put it up on a platter here for him to take that rip. Couldn't get much better than that, only just a little left. Would have been the top mark.
Bengals couldn't do much with the corner. Back to the pressure. Newby along the sideline. To Weans, looking for space. He created that first goal for the Bengals. To the middle, taken away by Kasasa. Remember, he just missed, making this a 3-0 game. Moments before the Bengals eventually scored. In the middle for Kita, all kinds of space. Tried to send it ahead for a crashing Obwogi. Knocked away by the Huskies. Up the field to the middle, Bengals have to recover. Gabler was there, and he's going to get whistled for that push. That's Ryan Schweiger. Brought a little of that football with him.
Yeah, you saw how chippy it kind of got between those two guys. They were a little bit shoved here and there as they got to that ball. And that last one, sometimes as you're just really trying to make sure that you get the positioning, just goes a little too far.
Long boot forward, and Dunnigan comes over to grab it. 21 minutes to go. A little oddity here for you, Blythe. That 2016 section title game, Andover won that game 1-0. Since then, these teams have met 5 times. Andover's won 3 times. Blaine has won twice. In each of those 5 games, the team on the losing end has been stuck with a single goal. It's always been 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2-1 Andover in 2019, and 4-1 Andover yesterday. So obviously had to get the one to try and come all the way back. But a weird coincidence rolling out now for the Bengals. If nothing changes here, that'll keep rolling, and they hope to put that stat to bed. Schrader deep to the corner, crossed it over. Player taken down. Dunnigan was after it, never got there. It's going to be a corner. A battle there between Frost for Andover and Caleb Murithi. And right now, the Bengals surviving.
Yeah, the Bengal defense coming up big time, allowing that one to not even have a shot taken on net, even though that ball rolling inside the box. Keeper change that.
Lucas Skipper's going to come into this game. Kevin Sarrazin as well. I'd seen Skipper get up and start to warm up after that goal was scored. Interesting, Skipper has also played in 8 games, allowed 12 goals, 71% on the save percentage. Chip shot, he makes contact, knocks it down, does Skipper. Bengals had a chance to clear, still in front. Again deflected by the Bengals and worked out as Frost tried to circle around and get a shot away. 19.5 minutes to go in a 1-goal game.
And the reason why I just say that I wouldn't see that one coming is oftentimes coaches don't switch a keeper, especially with this on the line here late in a game, unless something crazy happened or an injury.
Up and goal! What a header from Austin Eiferts on the secondary attempt, and he's able to angle it under the crossbar, just out of the reach of Lucas Skipper. What a goal for the Huskies to take a 2-goal lead again. Initial attempt off the corner and just perfectly placed to loop up and in.
And you see that ball drop quickly as it lofts over.
What a goal by Eiferts.
And tough break for Skipper coming into a game. That is tough to make a save and be that ready, game ready, after being on the bench just a few moments ago.
So the Bengals came all the way back to get that goal, feeling good, tried to keep the pressure on. And then consecutive corner kicks for the Huskies. And they score on the second. Obwogi from the middle, taken away by Frost. Peels it straight down the heart of the field. Gabler to it. Under 18 to play.
Good clear for Gabler after having some pressure on him, still getting it up the field quite a bit on that clear.
Blake Knutson checks in for Andover. Foul's going to be called on Tura DeLu. Advantage to the Huskies. They led it 1-0 at the half. Kasasa scored 11 minutes in. He scored again less than 8 minutes into the second half. Another driving through ball. Never cleared by the Bengals, but now a chance to peel it off the goal line. Pushed back down, then eventually out of bounds over the head of Fidel Bammy, who's waiting to check into this game. Bengal ball down 2, 16:45 to go. Bengals would score 8 minutes following the second Kasasa goal with 24 minutes to go to make it a 1-goal game. And then within 5 minutes, the Huskies retake the 2-goal lead. Kasasa offside again. Back for the Bengals. 16 minutes to go between them and win number 8 of the season, which would keep them rolling, but also standing in their way, the 2-goal deficit.
And what does that feel like for these guys, that pressure on their shoulders? They did just get that back within a goal, and now having to be down 2 goals, a little deflating, so needing to help pick each other up and stay positive as these guys look to fight and get back into this one. They still do have time. 15 minutes is quite a bit of time. Goals can be scored quickly, but it does take that change of heart and that pressure that they're able to put on the back line, more like what we saw in those early minutes of the second half by this Bengal team.
Bengals trying to maintain pressure, but Knutson knocks it free. Bammy just back in. Couldn't cleanly find his way to it. Now it caroms back to him. Pushed up. And knocked away by the Bengals all the way up into the stands. Alex Gabler got all that one. 15 minutes to go. In comes Luke Schrader. More fresh legs for your latest goal scorer out there, Austin Eifert. Eklund's throw in into the back of a teammate. Kita for the Bengals, pops it to Newby. Andover maintaining possession. That one winds its way to Bammy. All the way down for Skipper. Newby's offering, knocked away by Eklund, who ends up down on the deck, keeps fighting, now eventually a whistle. Eklund was pushed, he can't believe it, it's gonna be Bengal ball. Bengals not waiting around with just 14 minutes to go and down by 2. The Blythe's point, we had goals scored at the 32:45 mark. Then 8 minutes later, another goal for Kita. Out of the box comes Skipper. Then within 5 minutes, had another goal in this game. Pace is picked up here in the second half, but to the detriment of the Bengals.
My coach would usually say that of look through those 5-10 minutes after a goal is scored, and that's typically when it's going to happen again, whether it's the team forcing it to get another goal because that momentum, that pressure they're building up, or is it the opposing team and they're wanting one back.
Shot and a capper for Paul Aminga to put the Huskies up by 3 for the first time tonight. Just 13:20 to go. Aminga scores for the 5th time this season. 13:20 to go. Beautiful feed up that far side. Ashton Frost has played so well all game long. Got it to the left foot of Aminga, who scores it. And it's 4-1 Huskies.
Pretty devastating here for the Bengals just to see that door open quite a bit as you get that first goal. You felt the momentum that they had, and now to see it swing quite drastically the other way.
2 unanswered since the Bengals at the 24-minute mark, just over 10 minutes of game action ago, got this to within a goal. Kita scored to make it 2-1. But since then, Eifert and Aminga answered those +1. Answered that goal +1. It'll be Andover ball. Big week on North Metro TV rolls on. Thursday night doubleheader, second round action from 7-3A, focused squarely on Centennial, expecting the doubleheader there with the 2-seeded boys squad and the 1-seeded girls squad. Friday night back here, Bengals taking on a tough Wayzata team in football. Of course, every week, all of that wrapped in a tight little bow on Monday nights for Sports Den. Find all the highlights. Everything we cover on North Metro TV. Andover dominant highlights tonight, also in the second half. Some hand fighting there for Frost. Draws the whistle Free kick for the Bengals, under 12 minutes to go.
You see how quickly the Bengals getting that one back into play. They know that time is ticking. They still are trying to give themselves all the time that they have to try to get some more goals on the board.
The offense just not where they've wanted it to close the season against very good teams in Duluth East and Champlain Park, now Andover. But just 2 goals scored in their last 3.5 games plus 29 minutes. They've been outscored now 16-1, or 16-2, excuse me, in that stretch. Wrong time of the year to go a little cold from the offensive side. Whole host of changes coming up for the Bengals. Lamar Adam will get back out there along with Ryan Bowman, Charlie Rohrbaugh, and Alec Thoreen as well checks in. Coming up on 10 minutes to go. Adam to the middle for Newby. Far side, ball crossed back towards Kita. His header goes towards the net. Easy stop, though, there for Nolan Meyer, who's played very well back there today, Blythe, even on the opportunities. The Bengals with 3 official shots on goal, but some situations where Myers had to be on his toes, and he's stepped up and been up to the challenge today.
And he's a junior, so he will be with the team, you would suppose, next year. And, again, all this experience that he's gaining and continuing to gain throughout this season.
Coming up on 9.5 minutes to go in this one. Bengals are going to fall for the 10th time this season, and this one will end the season. Disappointing result here today. After a year of going to the semifinals last year, losing to Centennial. This year they'll come up 1 game short of that. Such positive strides made throughout this season for this Bengal team, that 3-game winning streak they can look back on. Steps taken by some of the underclassmen, including a couple of sophomore keepers. You talk about getting great experience. Dunnigan played well in this game. The 3rd goal comes in against Skipper, who's played well this season. The Bengal ball coming out of that attacking end.
And I just continue to think about how tough that is to come into a game that has been played. These guys in rhythm, ready to take shots on you, and coming from the bench to have to take those shots right off the get-go. And he had 2 really good plays against him that ball did find its way to the back of the net, but I can't imagine how hard that would be.
Kasasa looking for more. They'll settle it down 1-on-1. Across the field for help. Shot and a save by Skipper. Had Kostic bearing down on him. Good recovery by the Bengal defense and a good save at the back end by the Bengal keeper.
And see, that's what we're used to seeing from him. And when you think about it, he's had that time to now get adjusted to this game to be able to make a stop like that.
Bengals get the ball to trickle through towards Kita. Defense there. It will be a corner. Oh, they say throw in. And forced out. And now the corner kick coming up. It's a tricky angle, Blythe.
It is very tricky from this press box.
7-10. Remaining here, down by 3. Zach Newby take the corner. Header was there. Caroms to the far side from the tall Alec Thoreen. Pushed out, it'll be Andover ball. Ball coming back to the Bengals, 6.5 to go. Victor Rodriguez, senior defenseman, trying to get in the game for the Andover Huskies. They have done the work, 3 goals in the second half.
Yeah, I would assume Andy Lynch going to be quite proud of his guys coming out here and making it happen tonight. And we talked early in this game just that wasn't always the case for the Huskies to have a game where everyone is on and they're all firing, and we saw that tonight.
Keita goes down. The Andover bench doesn't like it. This is going to be a free kick just outside of the box here.
And this is pretty similar to the one I was talking about from Duluth in just a couple games ago.
5.5 to go, down by 3. Does he have one here? Weans is also there. He'll run past. It will be Duluth who knocks it home.
Like I said, he had such a beautiful one in that other game, and now here again, that's his spot. I think if it's right there outside the box, he's going to get it done for them.
Makes it a 2-goal game. Duluth will score for the 3rd time this season.
Now you think about it, Bengals, what can you do to make something happen down there where possibly you get fouled? Get another one here.
Got to get it back. Get that pressure back down there. You see the Bengals sell out to try and do just that. So it's 4-2 here. Andover coming back, trying to answer. That one streams its way into Lucas Skipper. Under 5 to go. Duluth, nifty footwork. Get some look at possession. Newby, push up the near side to Weans.
Yeah, wonderful job switching the field, spreading out the defense here.
Booted down. It's free. Nobody home, nobody crashing and following there on the potential return pass from Amar Adam. I think he had the right idea, Blythe, but nobody home.
And sometimes that happens when your team, you're down by a couple goals, to get everyone on the same page that, hey, this is possible. Let's get this done. Let's have this happen right now. Sometimes some guys are still like, oh, that's too bad. We're not that close. But hey, if you were able to net one there, you're just down by a goal to tie this one up and make it go to overtime.
Keita comes to Weans on the near side. He's pushing down the field. Avoids the defender. He's down, and that one, just out of the box, right side?
Duluth needs it just a little bit on top of the box, but it does look like they will get the kick. This one going to probably look more like a corner kick.
Pauses the clock with 3:31 as well. So this one's going to be taken by Zach Newby. Towards the net. First deflection out for Andover, so no magic on that one. Low liner that Newby's hoping to get a potential rebound chance on.
I might have still had Duluth take it. Like I said, he made both of the last two that I've seen by him in that range. Yes, not exactly on top of the box like those other two, but still, I think he might have had it in him.
Sarrazin tossed it in for the Bengals. It crosses the field. Bengals trying to take possession away. Got it to Adam. Adam to the middle. Sherian shot, knocked away. Adam, he is hustling after everything here. Sherian battling. Down he goes. They're saying get up and play on. Ball streaks up the field. Chipped out by the Bengals, back in. 2.5 minutes to go.
Now is where time is going to start playing that factor. We do start to see that intensity going to have to go up because you really have to net these goals quickly if they're going to happen.
Clock was stopped for a moment. Now it's rolling again. Weans pushes it towards the middle as the Bengals try and send it upfield. Out of bounds, far side, Bengal throw in. Still got to get one to even get close to miracle time here. Andover put it to the foot they wanted with Frost, who's been great all game.
Yeah, I'd say they might have been able to take a few seconds, or at least a second, maybe longer on that throw-in just to make sure they connected to feet and set themselves up.
Bengals pushing it through with Adam. Down to space, Weans battling for it. Aminga scored that last goal. Really put this one out of reach. Weans maintains possession again. Winds it over. Finds Shirian. Reverse to the far side. Through ball in. Chance! Second chance. Kita. Did that touch a hand? It did. Touched a hand of the Bengals. Look at that opportunity, though, for Tora DeLu right there in front. And just couldn't connect. Kita knows how close they came. Great ball from Ryan Bowman. Bengals pushing again, and a save this time by Nolan Meyer. We're under 50. It's academic now because you're not going to get two in this time, but the Bengals have put the pressure on.
I've seen it just barely happen in my college days with like 33 seconds, 2 goals happen, but it's very rare.
This one now down to 30.
As these guys continue to push here in these last little bit, at least trying to get that ball in your attacking end to finish this one in your possession.
Yeah, it's a credit to the Bengals continuing to battle. Kasasa. Whistle. And that's going to get us close to the end of this one. Final 9 seconds ticking off. Andover will take the free kick. Trying to angle it home. They don't need it. They've got a 4-2 win in their back pocket. They beat the Bengals and send their season to a close. 7-10, the final mark for the Bengals. Huskies are now 6-9-1, and they will move on to likely face the 1 seed, Duluth East. Tough night for the Bengals on the boys' side as they lose it by the final of 4-2. Remember, all kinds of soccer coverage plus football coming your way this week on North Metro TV. For Blythe, I'm JW and the entire North Metro TV crew. Thanks so much for joining us for both of these games. Bengals split them. The girls get the win earlier on this turf. The Bengal boys fall in game number 2. And you watched it all right here on North Metro TV. Good night, everybody.